What's up, guys? Matt Brown here for TheLines.com. Talk some Monday Night Football between the Bengals and the Browns. While we're at it, everything we do, absolutely free. So you're here anyway, go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Come along for the ride for the rest of the season. And, of course, we'll have basketball stuff. We've already got basketball stuff coming. We've got college basketball stuff coming. We got everything on this channel absolutely free. So please help us out, hit that subscribe button, and let us know in the comment section, how are you playing Monday Night Football, where we have the Cincinnati Bengals sitting 3.5, depending on where you get it. So an expensive 3 or a cheap 3.5. In this thing, 45.5 is our total. I'll scroll down a little bit here if you want to read along on this matchup. So the big thing here is, as we know, is the injury report, right? For Cincinnati, no Ja'Marr Chase. Doesn't look like he's having to go on IR, but definitely going to miss this game. Josh Tupou, defensive tackle, starter for them, also out. Eli Apple, starting corner, also out. So your best wide receiver, one of your starting corners, one of your starting defensive tackles out for Cincinnati in this one. On the Browns side, they are not without injuries either. Right guard Wyatt Teller, one of the better blockers in all the league, he is out. Tight end David Njoku is out. And then Denzel Ward, their lockdown corner, is out as well. The other problem here is listed as questionable. Greg Newsome, Greedy Williams, the other two corners that they've got. Now, look, they're listed as questionable. They played last week. So expected to play, but again, listed as questionable. And then JOK, Jeremiah Owusu Koromoa is the linebacker that is also listed as questionable for the Browns in this one. So, man, we are looking at some pretty impactful injuries that we know of guys that are already going to be out. You know, Wyatt Teller, Njoku, Ward, Chase, Apple, Tupou. I mean, like, there's a lot of guys that are going to be out in this game. Scroll down a little bit further if you want to continue to read. So, guys, this is pretty easy for me as well. So I put this into the account on the opener at 3 in favor of Cincinnati. Ja'Marr Chase news really doesn't really affect how I view this game. And honestly, it didn't affect the market either, right? I mean, there were 3.5s that were there that turned into 3s. There were some of that, but I mean, there's still 3.5s in the market right now. People back in the Bengals. And listen, I think if you really do take a look at this, there's a big mismatch here in this pass offense, even with the absence of Ja'Marr Chase. We're still going to see a Cincinnati offense that is much, much improved here over the last several weeks. And look, here's the deal. If you watch the full preview that we had last week, it's the same deal. We're going to continue to talk about this, but what they are doing now is basically running exclusively shotgun. And out of that, maybe it just lets Joe Burrow keep his head up. He's able to scan the field a little bit better. Certainly maybe can see some people getting through the line, because we know the line still has not gelled completely. So whatever it is, since they have moved to this shotgun-based offense, they've been really good. And if you look last week, I mean, before the game got out of hand, the Bengals were in shotgun 89% of the time, which is every play but 5 in the game. And of those 5 plays, 3 of them were from the 1-yard line. There was one from the 2-yard line and one from, and there was a 3rd and 1 in which there was a quarterback sneak. So like basically 100% of the time they're in shotgun if they aren't at the 1-yard line or whatever, or 2-yard line. And since they moved to this as well, one of the things that we talked about is, hey, we can't buy into Cincinnati because this offensive line can't protect Joe Burrow. Well, he's only been pressured on 19.4% of his passing plays over the last 3 weeks. That is the lowest rate in the league over that span. So they have figured something out here. And Joe, I think, has also figured something out. Getting the ball out of his hand a little bit quicker, figuring out ways to extend plays and different things like that. And with that, only 19.4%, again, lowest pressure rate in the league over the last 3 weeks. And what they're doing is they're just passing a ton more as well, right? So they've shifted to where why they were run first anyway in the beginning of the season, I have no idea. But they've shifted away from that. This past Sunday, in that game I just talked about, They had a 21.3% pass rate over expectation. It's the highest of any team in the NFL this season. So this is this shift, even with Jamar Chase. And look, it is a massive, huge injury. Don't get me wrong. I'll scroll down. You can continue to read here a little bit on this. Look, it's a massive injury. There's no doubt about it. But T. Higgins would be a number one on half the teams in the league. Tyler Boyd would be a number two on more than half the teams in the league. So basically, you're taking a dude who is essentially a number one and asking him to be the number one now because Chase is out. And you're taking a guy that is legitimately a number two in the NFL who works as a three and asking him to be the two that he is anyway. And now we're getting a team coming in Cleveland, and I don't even know how this is possible with all those guys that they have, but they're 25th in the league in pressure rate. So the stuff that maybe we were worried about is not even going to happen here with this team. 28th pass defense DVOA. So as long as Zach Taylor doesn't revert back to the ways that were not working at the beginning of the season, and listen, I don't think Zach Taylor's the sharpest guy in the NFL, so maybe he will. And maybe this handicap goes out the window really, really quickly because they're back to pounding, Joe Mixon in the middle of the line for 2.2 yards a carry over and over again. If that's the case, then this is going to go to hell. But I'm going to assume the assumption of rational coaching has bitten me a lot of times, but I'm going to assume that he sees how much more efficient the offense has been by throwing it a ton and that he's going to continue that. And look, maybe that means an extra couple targets for Hayden Hurst or something like that. But I think that we're going to see still a really nice, efficient offense here from Cincinnati in this game against a defense, for whatever reason, again, in Cleveland, I don't know why, has been very poor this season. 31st in tackling in the NFL. 25th in early down EPA, so teams are getting into favorable positions on them. 29th in points per play on defense as well. It's just a bad defense right now in Cleveland. And the same cannot be said for Cincinnati, who's, by the way, their defense has shown up every single week this season. We had to get to where this offense, we could trust them. We trust this defense every single week. The Bengals defense is the first team since 1950 to not allow an offensive touchdown in the second half of any of the first 7 games of the season. So yes, they have not allowed a second half touchdown this season at all. First team since 1950 for that to be the case. So what are we getting here too? I'm wondering, because listen, at the beginning of the year, Jacoby Brissett was actually moving the ball a little bit, right? And with that, we are starting to see, I think, these teams just, they get more tape on him, get more tendencies, more different things like that. And I think that they're starting to kind of figure things out. They can still run the ball very, very well. They can still run the ball, and they will. They'll move the ball on the ground. They'll run the ball here for sure. But they can't pass anymore all that efficiently. That being said, guys, at this total now that has dropped from 47 to 45 because of the Chase news, I have a pretty good lean to the over. Again, like Cincinnati's going to move the ball through the air. Like they're going to be able to score points in this game for sure. And Cleveland has been incredibly efficient running the ball. It is still the number one rush offense in the NFL according to Pro Football Focus, right? The rushing success rate is 4th overall in the NFL. Like all the advanced stats on the rushing side of things, I think even with Wyatt Teller not in there, is still going to have success running the ball. So I actually have a lean to the over on the 45. I mean, listen, Jamar Chase is worth something for sure. But a whole 2-point drop, I think, is a little bit of an overreaction. I think there'll be points scored in this game. I kind of like the over, as well as the Cincinnati side. Let's look at some props here. And look, these aren't officially up as I'm recording this right now, but Harrison Bryant is going to step in and be the starter for this Browns team with David Njoku out. And one thing that we do know about Jacoby Brissett is he loves targeting the tight end. Loves it. David Njoku has 42 targets on the season. He has at least five targets in every game for the past 6 games. Of course, he's out this week. Those targets could easily get funneled to Harrison Bryant. David Njoku had a 10-target game in week 3. Just to let you know how much they love to throw the ball at the tight end in Cleveland right now. So when this gets posted, specifically for receptions, and unless the yardage is just way, way, way too low as well, I think you need to be taking Harrison Bryant props pretty seriously. I think he's going to be a player in this game. What props are posted right now is T. Higgins. I think this one's actually really fantastic to get the over on the 5.5. Listen, again, he's a number 1 who just has to play, who gets to be a number 2 in the league because Jamar Chase came in. He can easily slide into this role and have a ton of success. No Denzel Ward, remember that, in this game. And the 2 other corners have been listed as questionable. So even if they do play, they're not going to be 100%. So I really like the over on receptions for T. Higgins. He's going to get 6 catches in this game for sure. So we'll play that. And again, we'll monitor those Harrison Bryant props once they come out on Monday at some point leading into the game. So same game parlay here kind of tells the story of how I am betting the game. I'm going to take it under a field goal here because you can bet the alt spreads. So Cincinnati at 2.5. If they're going to win this game, they're going to have to score at least 20 points in my opinion. So we're going to take over 19.5. Joe's going to have to move the ball through the air. Joe Burrow, Jesus H. Burrow, Joey Football, 255 passing yards at least. If they're going to have success, they're going to win this game. And then again, T. Higgins is going to be a big recipient of all that. So I have him at 7 plus. That ends up paying at 5-1. If you want to get Tyler Boyd in on the action and say that he gets at least 6 catches in the game, it goes all the way up to 950. If you wanted to do that, if you want to be a little bit more conservative and say 4 plus, it just gets it up to 6-1 with Tyler Boyd. So you can add him in there if you wanted to as well, if you're looking for just a bigger payout. But this kind of tells the story of Cincinnati winning the game here. Winning by a field goal, you have to score at least 20 points. Burrow's going to have to go for 255, and T. Higgins is going to have to play a part in the receiving game. And if that's the case, then that tells the story pretty good of a Cincinnati win, in my opinion. Guys, everything we do, absolutely free. We're going to be on Cincinnati tonight. I might end up putting an over ticket in the account as well. Small one, maybe like a little quarter-size bet, half-size bet on the over as well, because I do think there'll be points scored in this one. Again, Harrison Bryant props we're going to monitor, and of course, we're going over on the receptions for T. Higgins. Everything we do, absolutely free, guys. Hit that subscribe button down below, and give us a thumbs up if you don't mind. Help the algorithm, people find this video, and then let us know in the comment section. How are you playing the game tonight? What do you think is going to happen here? How do you feel like this game is going to go, and does that lead you to a certain prop or anything like that? And of course, you can also discuss this with everybody in real time up here. Here's the Discord. Be sure and join that. Get in there. We're doing giveaways for real money, gift cards, swag, all that different stuff like that. So you definitely want to get in the Discord. All you got to do is be a subscriber to this channel to win all of those things. Guys, good luck here on all your bets on Monday night.